Okay, we are in Substance, and what we're going to do is import our models. So let's start with a new one, new Substance scene. We're going to start off with the basic Unity 5 algorithmic. There's another change in here we'll do a little bit later, but right now this will work. Boop, boop, boop. Go find our awesome handy dandy coolness. New house. This is where I put my. Let's do a wall. Let's do the wall door, or let's do the wall base. And what I'm going to do is make sure that my UVs fit the wall base, and they will also match with the UVs of the door because they're basically the same thing at this point. We don't have any other details to stand them, make them unique or different. And there we go. So F will frame. So my UVs go past the actual 1-1 space, which Substance is not a big fan of. But I think it'll be okay for right now because all I'm going to do is export the texture, and if I have to, I'll rebuild stuff. But I just want to kind of get you started. And right now, at this point in our world, we're okay with just kind of screwing things up. First thing I want to do is go to my texture set settings. Look for this icon. It's going to be probably buried into a layer. So if I go here and grab it, I'm going to put it up here. It's going to probably be tabbed like this is. And you want to make sure that you have that. I don't want that. Let's close you. I don't want you. I want you. Again, with Substance, anytime you close one of those right-sided menus, they're going to be right here in the icon library, so it's easy. But I have it open. We only have one material set, so it's not a big deal. But let's go ahead and make the mesh maps. We didn't do a whole lot to prep for this. We just got the UVs in the model. So the one thing I want you to do is click on ID, go down here, and just put in mesh ID or polygroup. That should be fine. I may get an error, but I'm not sure. But it's going to bake all of the maps that the software needs to help us paint this. What we're going to do is just put a simple texture on this and export it out. And if it's a little messy, again, we can fix it. It's no big deal. Because we can save our scene in Substance and then go back to 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, whatever, fix our UVs, and then come back and reapply them in Substance. And that'll make things a lot easier. Which is why we had that seam right there, which was when it was baking these the maps. That's done, and until we need to actually make a new material, a new different kind of particular kind of map, we're going to not need that window for a minute. What we want, which yours is probably open, is the shelf. Yours will be down here like this. And I'm keeping mine kind of small because it'll eat up my RAM. But I'm going here, and I'm just going to go into the base materials and just find, I don't know, let's find, just do, I have a wood texture. There we go. Let's do this wood texture. I'm going to drop it on to the entire thing. It's going to put it on the entire object. It may give us an error with this. We'll see. Great. So far, it's money loving. So we'll just kind of keep that going right here. We can get into some things like scaling the actual work. You can see where the seaming is, and we'll go ahead and adjust that later on to fix it in 3ds Max and just re-import it. Just in case I don't make a video for it, the way that you would have to do it is you go back to your source, fix your UVs, and then come into this scene. Let's save as, not a copy. Let's save as, and we'll just call this base wall. I'm going to call this class because that's help me remember what I did it for. I build a lot of base walls. Now we want to fix or replace the UVs. What we want to do is go into Maps, Project Configuration, and in here it's looking for a file. Let's go ahead and say let's pick the wall door. It's going to replace the mesh entirely. But it's going to try to bake the mesh map as best it can. I've got some errors here. But you can see how I can quickly swap out the materials, and so you can see how the difference the UVs are. That's how you can change things out relatively quickly. We'll get into fixes here in a little bit, but the next thing I want to do now, let's go ahead and export the textures. So export textures. And if you want to get into some really big details, you do it in the with the export tab open, go to configuration, and you can choose some things that are a little bit more specific. And one of the ones that I want to look at, I believe, is right there, the HD render pipeline. That's the one we want right now. And without going too deep into it, let's just go ahead and go over here. The think that's how we use it. So we use that. I think that's what's going to work. It's worked before. We'll go ahead and click on that. Apologies, my brain's a little, I'm doing multiple things at once, so I'm a little discombobulated. I'm going to go ahead and put this actually in the same project that I've been putting all the FBXs and such. And that is actually in 3ds Max, which is up here. I want to put it in the export folder where I'm putting these things. I will move these to a better location. Let's just go ahead and put that right there. Export that out. And then it'll make the textures we need. If we want to open the folder to see what it did, here are the textures. Wall door. So we've got albedo, the metallic smoothness, and which is what's going to be helpful for making the metalness. That's the actual mask map in Unity, and then normal map and the color map. So that's everything we need to do. I'm not going to save it because I've already made it with the walls, but it's okay. And in the next video, we're going to build our shaders in Unity.